Hi guys, welcome back to Saturday Morning Cartooning, the show where we learn about cartoon characters from the past, the people that created them, and then we learn to draw them together. Come on and grab your friends. Today we're going to be learning about Cartoon Network's Adventure Time. Adventure Time was a show that aired on Cartoon Network from 2010 to 2018. It was created by independent animator and cartoonist Pendleton Ward. The show was about the magical adventures of Finn the Human Boy and his dog Jake, a magic dog who could change shape when needed. They lived in the post-apocalyptic land of Oo, formerly Earth, where magic had returned to everyday life. The pair have many magical friends, including Princess Bubblegum of the Candy Kingdom, Marceline the Vampire Queen, and BMO, the sentient handheld video game. They also have a few magical enemies like the Ice King and the Earl of Lemongrab. Pendleton Ward had many pop culture influences for Adventure Time, including Dungeons & Dragons, a role-playing game, video games like The Legend of Zelda, and anime or Japanese animation, especially Hayao Miyazaki's My Neighbor Totoro. The character designs are minimal, with very little, if any, articulated understructure. The smooth, curvilinear lines and lack of realistic detail will make these characters relatively easy to draw.
All right, let's get ready to draw Finn and Jake from Adventure Time. Let's take a look at the reference drawing. Look at how simple the character design is. Finn is basically a curvy rectangle, and Jake is basically an oval. They have real, almost like spaghetti thin limbs with no like skeletal understructure. So they're going to be pretty easy to draw. Probably the hardest part is just going to be drawing. Seriously, the hardest part is going to be drawing this little bit going around his shoulder on his backpack. And that's just a matter of perspective and working in 3 dimensions. But let's do it together, all right? Let's do the basic shapes first. Do a curvy rectangle here for Finn. Remember, when you're drawing with your pencils, draw nice and light to begin with. Oh, I also should mention, before we go any further, certain colors we're going to need. We're going to need a light blue, we're going to need a dark blue, we're going to need a yellow, pink, a dark red, and a peachy skin tone. We're also going to need, when it comes time for inking, I would think a regular old fine point permanent marker will do the trick. Alright, so here we have that curvy rectangle for Finn, and let's do right about here for Jake. Alright, we have to leave room for legs on Finn. Let's start with putting in some ears for him. Now, Finn is a human boy, but he wears an animal hat, almost like a polar bear. So he's got these 2 little bumps up here for ears. And that's going to be where his hat's going to stop. Here's going to be that strap of his backpack, and then the other one is going to be here. We only see a bit of it because it's being blocked off by most of his body. He's going to have a hand going out this way. He's going to be doing a fist bump with Jake, who's going to have a curvy arm, and they're going to meet there. Right now, don't forget, we're just drawing basic lines and basic shapes as to where everything is going to be. Right, so don't worry about being super detailed right now. Finn's other arm is going to come out this way, and it's going to go down back towards his wrist. He's got a leg. It's going to be bent this way, and then the other one is going to go straight out. Almost a real awkward pose. You can see on the reference drawing how it looks kind of awkward, but it works in a weird way. Same thing with Jake. He's going to have one that's going to be bent. It's going to go behind him this way. And the other one is going to go out this way with the heel up. Alright, those are our basic shapes. Alright, now we're going to start putting in a little bit more detail. We can start by putting in an oval inside his polar bear hat. I think it's a polar bear. I don't know what other kind of animal it would be. And we can put on his features. He has no nose. All he has is two little dots for eyes and this big, wide smile. Suggestion of a tongue, and then 3 teeth. And that's all for features. Alright, let's thicken this arm. This is the one that's going to be coming out this way and fist bumping Jake. So we're going to draw just a little suggestion of a fist. Remember, these designs by Pendleton Ward are very simplistic, very minimal, so you don't have to get super realistically detailed. So in fact, all we're going to see is just like this little bump for a palm of a hand and one finger. And then the other bits are going to be covered by Jake's fist. That is even simpler. Here. And that's it. We'll erase that. You'll see that better when it comes time for inking. Alright? Let's do his strap of his backpack. And that's going to go behind this arm. So we're going to draw it going down this way, and then we're going to skip a step, and then continue on the other side of the arm. Alright. And when it comes to the backpack itself, it just looks like a half circle right over here. His shirt goes to about here, and then everything down here is going to be pants. So he's got this little bump for his hip, and then it goes into his pant leg. Now, there's this little suggestion of 3D. I'll show you on the reference photo. See if I can get up close. You can see there's this little circle right here, as if we can see just a little bit of the inside of his pant leg. So that's what I'm drawing here. That's what this little oval is for. And we're going to do the other side going up, going onto the other leg. This line is just going to go straight down like this. I don't like the way I did that, so I'm going to erase it. And start again, just on that section. There we go. Before we do the legs, let's finish up this arm. I'm going to thicken it. And all he's got is, it actually looks like a little animal's paw. Here, I'll show you on the reference photo. Look at his other hand. Pretty much just looks like a little paw of an animal. Very minimal details. And that's what makes drawing these characters a lot of fun, because you can draw them relatively quick and they're easy to do. Okay, I'm going to just draw his sleeve right here. And then there's the suggestion of a sleeve right there. Alright, now we can thicken these legs. He's got his legs going down, then it's going to come to a stop. We're going to draw a little oval shape right there, that's going to be his sock. And then his shoe, again, very simple. Actually looks like a sock, but it is going to be a shoe. We're going to be inking that in black later on. And let's do this leg. Thicken the two lines. Sock. Now with this one, his heel is going to be down. So once his heel goes down, you're going to go right across horizontally. And there's his shoe. So it's as if he's putting all the pressure on his heel. Alright, there is a little line right here just for the difference between the colors of the backpack, because it's going to be light green on top and it's going to be dark green on the bottom. Okay, I think we're pretty much done with Finn. We're going to move on to Jake. Let's just clean up the line a little bit so we don't get confused. So I don't get confused. There we go. Okay. So he has these big bulbous eyes. So he's going to have one here and then one here. Close to the edge. Actually, this eye goes off the edge of the circle, the oval. And then his muzzle is going to cut off the bottom of his eye. So it's going to be this sort of like a long bean shape. These are going to be his dog jowls, or his muzzle. And then in between is going to be his little black nose right there. His mouth is going to be in between here. So he's going to have a top lip, and then the bottom lip comes down a little bit further. That'll give us room for 3 teeth, just like Finn's. Finn's teeth are sort of separated because he has a bigger mouth. Jake's are right next to each other. And he's going to have a little tongue right there. Now, Jake's eyes, they are basic circles, but they're rimmed in black, heavier on one side. So, for example, it looks sort of like a moon. So it's going to be black on this side and white on this side. Same thing with here. We're going to draw a circle on the inside, and then this is going to be black. Okay. He has... Actually, I'm going to extend this line out a little bit just to make him a little bit more, make it more of a rounded square than an oval. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Alright, so that way I have room for one of his ears, which is just like, sort of like a narrow smiley face right over there. And then the other ear, we only see a suggestion of it, and that's going to connect to that side of his head. Alright? Actually going to, now that I look at it, I'm going to move his arm down a little bit. So it's going to come down this way, giving more room in the face. And it'll connect to the body right about here. That might not be on yours. On mine, I needed to move it. If ever you feel like you need to move a line so that it looks a little bit more like the character, go ahead and do that. Okay. His other hand is just going to be right out here. And we can put a couple little lines in there to separate his fingers. Alright, this is where it could get a little tricky. So this leg is going to come down this way. Let's thicken the line. But this leg is going to cut in front of it. So this leg is going to go down this way. This little foot's going up. And we can erase on the inside so that's a little bit easier to see. And then, so this foot's going to be in front, this foot's going to be in back. So this leg is going to cut behind that one. And he's going to have his foot going down this way, and he's going to have this little bit of a toe, as if he's putting his toe down on the ground. Just going to make that a little bit smaller. Alright, I think our lines are in, and we're going to start inking now. Remember, when it comes time to ink, what's our motto? It's think before you ink, because some of these lines we're not going to be keeping. So make sure that when you're inking, you only ink the lines that you want to keep. You're not going to be able to erase permanent marker. Also, make sure that you are wearing clothes that you don't mind getting dirty, or if make sure also you have a couple of sheets of paper in between this sheet and the table. You don't want to stain your furniture either. Alright, let's get started. Let's do the strap of the backpack first. Notice I went down this way, but I stopped before the arm. So now I'm going to ink in the arm. And then I can do the rest of the strap. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the head. And what's really cool about these characters is that even when it comes to inking, you can just do a continuous line all the way down. It's almost unbroken. All the way down to his foot. Okay, so now remember we talked about almost that suggestion of 3 dimensions over here. We're going to draw a curve at the bottom of the pant leg there. Then we can go up and finish the pants. Do the same thing on the other side. Then I'm going to do the leg. And then finish that curve behind the leg so that it gives you just the little suggestion of seeing in just the inside of the pant leg. Now we do the other strap of the backpack and the other arm. This line, and then the line of the backpack. Okay. Let's finish off Jake. I'm going to do his nose first. Might as well color it in. And then his jowls, or his muzzle. That was the top lip, the 3 teeth, the bottom lip, and the top. One eye, 2 eye, interior line, and then darken this side. Okay. Remember, this leg cuts off the other one. We'll do this fist. The other side of the body, and then the other hand and his ear. Alright. Well, I could already see one line that I didn't get, which would be the mask line right there. And that side of his pantlet. Alright, at this point I think we're safe to erase. Remember, you can erase right over your permanent marker. It won't smudge. That won't work with a watercolor marker, so you don't want to do that if that's all you have. Just be careful then with your erasing. You wouldn't be able to erase right over the top. But because I used a permanent marker, I can erase right over the top. Okay. Now we can begin coloring. Let's get Jake out of the way. We're just gonna, he's basically all yellow, so grab yourself a yellow marker and color in. Same thing, once your permanent marker is dry, you can color right on top of it with your watercolor marker and it won't smudge. It's going to have a pink tone, and we're going to use that dark red pencil to get the inside of their mouth. Okay. We're going to use light blue for Finn's shirt. So take your light blue marker get his shirt and his sleeve. Don't forget that sleeve. We're going to use some dark blue for his pants. Okay. We're going to do his backpack. Remember, the top part of his backpack and the top part of this strap is going to be light green. You could also do this one too. And we're going to use some dark green for the bottom of the backpack. We're going to use a peachy flesh tone for his skin. Now, make sure you get the oval of his face, both arms under the sleeve, and both legs under the cuff of his shorts, stopping at the socks. Alright. You can pick up your black marker again and you can do his shoes. His tongue. And the inside of his mouth. And there you have it. Finn and Jake.